A thread by Brian Cates. Remember what I wrote months ago. The progressive left, all across the cultural spectrum, has set themselves up to fail at an impossible task. It's not just the DNC media complex, it's the entire progressive left in America. You've only gotten 1 week of it so far. The constant, relentless, never-ending gaslighting from every direction. From network news channels, from sports channels, from movie streaming services, from chain restaurants, from many major corporations, all saying the same things. Ever since Donald Trump shocked them by winning that 2016 election, the progressive leftist leadership has been preparing for this sustained ideological blitz on the rest of America as they go all 1984 on the rest of us with the exact same gaslighting narratives. Very carefully and very deliberately, the progressive left has spent the past 3.5 years positioning its resources and its people for big, sustained gaslighting campaigns that they would immerse this entire country in starting in the summer before the election. Carefully positioning and preparing its coming gaslighting blitz on the entire country for 3.5 years in the newsrooms, in the corporate boardrooms, in the broadcast booths, in the sports leagues, in the major magazines, video games, comic books. Who could deny the reality of the big, massive, humongous, gigantic, Mount Everest-sized cultural shift away from Donald J. Trump that the country is presently going through, when it's coming from all different directions across the cultural spectrum with one voice? A massive cultural shift away from systemic racism, white privilege, and the pathetic white fragility upon which President Donald J. Trump has built his entire presidency. A huge shift towards Joe Biden, the man who will give us all the third term of Barack H. Obama. I mean, come on, don't you miss Obama? Don't you wish he was still president? Huh? Don't you? You're sick of this gaslighting bullshit after just 1 week of it? Well, gird your loins, brothers and sisters. You've got 4.5 more months to go. Wait until the NFL season starts in August. All this gaslighting will be in full swing by that point. They're just warming up their throats at this point here in mid-June, testing the gaslighting machinery, running the quality control tests. By August, when the NFL preseason games start, you're going to see the NFL and the broadcasters go back to showing the anthem before every single game, just so they can show the kneelers and talk about them. Watch what happens every single time Drew Brees or J.J. Watt refuse to take a knee during the national anthem when the U.S. flag is being displayed to show support for their kneeling teammates. They seem to think they managed this with a couple of comments. They have no idea. Every single week they're going to have to kneel or be forced to apologize again for not kneeling. This will begin in the preseason, which will run through August. Then in September, the regular season will start. 8 weeks of games through September and October. 8 more weeks with every game broadcast beginning with the national anthem, cameras finding the kneeling people, broadcasters discussing white privilege and America's systemic racism problem and how wonderful it is that the culture is shifting away from it. Every single game will start this way, with a political protest followed by a political lecture disguised as sports coverage. 2 months of this. And this is just what the NFL is going to have on tap for its dwindling fan base from August to November 3rd. Because remember, November 3rd is the target. All this relentless gaslighting has but one true purpose: to get Donald J. Trump out of the White House. It'll be coming from all directions: celebrities, actors, musicians, authors, athletes, politicians, in one never-ending wave. and it's all fake. There is no huge cultural shift here in America away from its supposedly systemic racist roots. It's all an illusion. Tiny Marxist mobs are running around pulling down statues and dancing on top of them, celebrating the erasure of the racist past. They aren't erasing anything. America is still here. But we're in for an awful 4.5 months of relentless gaslighting, and I want you all to be prepared for it. Endure to the end. And then pay the tiny Marxist mobs back for what they put the rest of us through. They're trying to relentlessly gaslight us, 1984 style, for over 4 months, is only going to build Trump's coming massive red wave even bigger. Gaslighting us about our systemic racism, our white privilege, about Trump's white supremacy, about Biden's mental condition, about the economic comeback, about the jobs explosion, about Spygate and Ukrainegate evidence that'll drop. All it's doing is pissing us off. Believe you me, every single sane American citizen in this country that can vote is going to be properly motivated to do that by the time November 3rd gets here. After 4.5 months of this bullshit, trust me on this, they're going to have all the motivation they need. 4.5 months of being relentlessly, ideologically assaulted by this 1984 cult rabidly yelling at us if we're down for the glorious cause and are ready to join the revolution yet and prove that we've embraced their big brother by taking the knee and saying the words. You don't understand. We'll have already joined a real revolution, a real popular mass movement, and it's not the one that you're babbling to us about. It's a popular movement made of Americans, not fanatical 1984 type cult members spouting Marxist socialist crap. There actually has been a dramatic cultural shift in this country over the past 5 years, but it's been in the wrong direction as far as these Marxist losers are concerned. So they spent 3.5 years preparing to sell an illusion to try to hide this, reverse the trend. So here's the Herculean task the progressive left here in America set itself up to fail at. They have to hide the real growing cultural shift while manufacturing a fake one. We'll be relentlessly gaslighted for the next several months about an increasingly unpopular President Trump under siege from all directions while the entire culture shifts to Joe Biden or whoever comes out of the DNC in August, suppressing reality to sell an illusion. Ever see the movie Labyrinth? Jennifer Connelly is a young girl named Sarah whose infant brother has been taken captive by the Goblin King, played by David Bowie. He tries one deception after another to get Sarah to yield to him, and in the end, he has to beg. At the end of the film, in the final dramatic confrontation, Sarah defeats the Goblin King forever by coming to a powerful realization of the truth. You have no power over me. All the power of these tiny Marxist goon squads is an illusion. It's not real. It only looks impressive and powerful when it's seen through the lens of popular and social media. So keep this truth in mind the next 4.5 months as you watch many prominent celebrities, newscasters, sports stars, musicians, many major companies all endlessly babbling about cool new cultural shifts away from America's systemic racism and Donald Trump to Marxism and Biden. Let them babble. This 2020 election is not the referendum on America's systemic racist past as the gaslighters are so desperate to frame it. It's about a return to sanity. That's what most Americans will demand, and the election results will demonstrate that.